looking for how, right, to make sure that they're able to meet the needs. Now, your niche, when you have found it, when you've identified it, or when you've carved or crafted it, puts you on the first path, on the first track to be able to do something, to be able to get your market, to be able to register your presence. And when you are able to now move away, not just from having a niche, from having an identity, and you are able to make it a profitable niche, it means that the direction or positioning that you have is able to draw profit, value into what you do. Almost like saying you is beginning to pay off. You see, most of the time, and let me probably stress this here, profit does not necessarily mean money. A lot of people think that when you mention profit, or when you say something is profitable, the very first thing people think about is money. Actually, when something is profitable, it could mean that yes, that there's money to be gained out of it. Beyond money, it could also mean that it's fulfilling, it's rewarding, it's value for time, it's enriching. All these words can also resonate and represent the word profitable. Another thing is that whatever you do, you are not finding loss, you're not finding weakness, you're not finding lack at the end of the day, because apart from having dignity in labor, we really need to understand, if your task, initiative, business, skill, profession, it's not profitable, then you that also you can leverage on in identifying or finding a profitable niche is that when you are able to identify the gaps, and I repeat, when you are able to identify the gaps that within the sphere of industry that you represent, the gaps that exist within the space of business that you represent, the gaps that exist between the execution of your profession, the gaps that exist within the value chain of the market that you're seeking after. That those gaps really, they are opportunities to be able to create value and also to be profitable. It's opportunity that makes profit. So when you are able to find a niche that opens you to sort, to supply, to service gaps that exist, that is somewhat way of saying you found a niche, but you've also not just found a niche, your niche is profitable. So the very first thing in our minds is not to run along because we already have a niche. A niche can just be a mere identity. But when your niche is aligned with profitability, ability to profit, ability to make profit, profit, that way it becomes more sustainable and desirable and fulfilling. So let me give an example. So you have a tap or a borehole, and it's there to quench thirst. It's there to create value for those who are thirsty. Now, because of the borehole that you have, or you're trying to quench certain kind of thirst, um, then the first thing that comes to your mind is, okay, I have a borehole. I, I've been able to make provision. I've noticed that there's a market, there's a gap that people need water. Now, if that borehole doesn't have an attendant, that borehole is not a lock and a key to control or restrict access and use. At the end of the day, people will draw out water from that borehole. They will benefit from the water from that borehole, but the borehole doesn't become profitable to the person that set it up. Now, it speaks of the positioning of that intervention not being in the position to receive profit. Profit is received, profit is earned, profit is positioned for. And when you understand that, then it makes it a lot more easier, you know, when you're going back about your business, you're going about your trade, you're going about your skill, you're going about your talent, you're going about a lot of things that you're doing. Most of the time, the source of fear that people have in not doing the things that they are called to do or the things that they desire to do is from the fact that they've not been able to answer the question: your niche, your identity, is it profitable? Now that we've spent a lot of time on the rudiments of how to identify, or the stress and the importance on niches being profitable, how then do I make my niche profitable? Or how then do I find a profitable niche? Very simple. We need to be able to first identify if your niche is speaking, saying, giving out a message. Every niche is saying something. Every niche is selling something. And so, from the message that you carry, you can easily radar, review, identify if there will be ability to make profit. And that is where most times a lot of people might get stuck. How do I carve my message? In my carving my message, I am trying to make my niche profitable. So I am speaking the words that resonates with a call to action, the words that resonate with value added or value added, the words that resonate with the fact that this is what I expect as acceptable and from my client, from my market, from my participant, from the public, from the industry. And this is simple, but it's not necessarily just as easy as that, because you need to be able to identify message, right, aligns with your positioning, aligns with your values, aligns with the need of the hour. Now, there are different needs out there, and there are some people don't pay close attention to how to meet the needs out there. And tonight, one thing I'm very sure of is that I would want you to be able to go with that understanding that your niche, right, is one of the things that will clear you of headache of competition. headache of being copied, headache of being threatened by easy entry into market, the lowest form of restriction or entry to your market, monopolization of your market. One of the things to solve such headaches is what? Is ability to be able to do what? To find a profitable niche. Now, a profitable niche, I would like to probably define, or not necessarily define, but describe it as a road that is bespoke to you. Number one. Number two, a road that you've been able to design value for yourself. So that niche is being like a servant to the thing that you're trying to achieve. Um, Thank you. I'm seeing Olumide, great to have you here. Oluwafemi, great to have you here. Chichi, great to have you here. And a lot of people who are out there, great to have you here. So maybe just backtrack for those who just coming in and just say what we're trying to do. So tonight I'm doing more or less like a systematic approach because I've had opportunity to speak on getting consulting right. I've had opportunity to speak on several things, the millionaire model and all those things. And I found out that if one is not careful, thriving and deploying and applying general principles might get you stuck when you are not able to carve out something to advantage or of advantage to yourself. And we see this in everyday economics. We see it in everyday organization. Organizations sometimes haven't known the reality and the sensitivity of the market or haven't seen their sometimes just straighten out their approach, cut off all the curves, stop the mucking about, and go straight to the point to is a niche. And it's almost like saying, in this market, this is what we want. In this market, this is how we offer. And it is essential that in all the carving, indentation, in all the profiling, market profiling, you are able to ensure that your profiling leads to profit. Now, what's the importance of having a profitable niche? I'll share with you three. Number one, a profitable niche, one, keeps you focused. You see, and I'm sure you probably might have heard this before. Focus to a large extent is also is focus is also seen as what? Blindness of some sort. So when you have a niche, and especially the niche is a profitable one, it helps create focus for you. It helps you not just to have focus, but it also helps you to stay focused. One thing is, it is one thing to have focus, it is another thing to stay focused. And when you're focused, um, even when things are not coming out as expected, but you're doing it consistently, you're able to benefit from the power of being consistent. You're able to benefit from the eventual effect of consistency. And so that is what happens when you have a niche and you are able to put your mind, put your resources, put your heart, put your time, put your talent, put your energy, and deploy that based on focus. Definitely, there are other things that take place in the market. I've seen many experts derail at this point. I've seen many great people just because they did not stay focused. And it could be sometimes as a result of a general, approach to doing things. They did not stick to the niche that they've carved for themselves. Some don't even have a niche, and I'll try as well this sector by sector or probably industry by industry, and if possible before we end tonight's session, we would also look at it from business to business. So the first thing I said that states the reason finding your niche is important is that you get to stay focused. Finding your niche helps you, keeps you to what? To stay focused. Number two, having a niche helps you to stay longer in the minds of your market. It makes you memorable. It is easier for you to be remembered when you have a niche. It's easier for you to stay constant in the minds of your consumers, in the minds of your clients, in the minds of your customers. Once you what? Once you have a niche. Niche we're talking about is actually your true identity. In fact, it is said that a brand is not what you say you are, but a brand is what consistently people refer you to be. And your branding, in fact, is also some measure of carving a niche. So what you do and what you do not do, your actions and inactions have the capacity, have the ability to form a niche for you. So even when you don't think you're being deliberate, you're actually still forming a niche regardless of your approach. And that's why we all need to, number one, carve a niche for ourselves that is profitable. So we stay longer in the minds of the people. Then three, it also helps you to emerge into the state of mastery. You see, when you have a niche, you to be seen as a specialist. It's easy for you to be seen as someone who provides some degree of quality that is able to make people say, you know what, this person has done this over a period of time, or this person specializes on matters around this, and it helps you kind of service to deploy. You see, sometimes what is customer service, for example, to a particular client A might not be customer service to client B. And just because you're trying to offer a general service, if you're not careful, that if you have discerning clients or clients who are a bit more, finicky about certain things, what will be regular might turn out as what service failure when you're talking about another client. But you see, when there's a niche, you already know the prerequisites from your market. You know the requirements from your market. You know the desires of your market. And all through each layer and dimension of your service, it helps you to easily just come up with things that you are almost spot on. You are almost sure that this thing that I'm doing suits my target market. This thing that I'm deploying suits my target market. Basically, um, that's what it simply means when you talk about having to have a niche. So I've shared with you three importance of why you need to have a niche. I'll run over it again. The first important thing, or the first point, is um, you need to stay focused. Having a niche will definitely help you stay focused. Number two is because you're also memorable. The more you're having a top of the mind share in the minds of your customers, you're almost easily going to be the first person they refer. You're almost going to be the person that they will always come to. Retainership becomes stronger, and retention and market share becomes better for you. And then, of course, number three, it helps you provide bespoke service that is in alignment to the needs of your market. It helps you to really be spot on. It helps you to be seen as a specialist. It helps you to gain a lot of mastery, right? Um, so while we know the importance, obviously the next thing that we need to talk about is, are there benefits of having a niche? What about if I'm just a general person? So as a consultant, for example, having a niche as a consultant definitely means that you as a consultant must try to focus on one area, or must build expertise along a spectrum. If it's not, it should be at least along a spectrum. So you find that that's why sometimes when you see or listen or hear the way people are being introduced, or sometimes you're able to, explore and discover what type of businesses people run. In the same industry, you hear people say things like, I am a management consultant, a niche. I am a development consultant. That is also a niche. I'm a process improvement consultant. Wow, that is also a niche. I'm an operations management consultant. That is also a niche, right? And you have it sometimes, some people might say, I'm a business development consultant. That is also a niche. It's simply trying to tell you that regardless of the composite of skills that they have, they're able to move into a spectrum or into a specific area that almost anyone that has that particular need would have no trying to locate them. So if I have a need for improvement in my processes, I probably might not need a business development person. I might just go straight to a process improvement person. Or probably I need a more robust solution and intervention that probably will require a management consultant. I might not go for an operations management. And so that's what a niche does for you. And so when you look at the importance, one thing I also recognize is that for those individuals that have of niche, a niche along the spectrum or an area are always visible. They sometimes are visible effortlessly, seamlessly, painlessly, less of pain in their being visible. So when you're looking for a consultant, you're looking for a handler, you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for a trainer, you're looking for a facilitator, that sometimes some set of people easily stand out, not just because of skill, but because of the niche they've carved for themselves. You might even have better expertise, better skills, better qualification, longevity of experience, but the visibility of one who's already spot on. So put it this way, you're planning to have a party, a birthday party, and some things are coming to your mind. You want to host a lot of people, friends, family, colleagues. Certain things will come into your mind. You don't need to waste much time. You need to talk about welfare, hospitality, food. Once you're talking about that, once you begin to drill down, names begin to pop up. But when somebody is just an everyday expert, everything expert, every segment expert, not easily be one of the people that will come up in the minds of, even when you are not RC, there's the power, where your niche speaks for you in your absence. So somebody says, for example, we need to do something, let's say, for example, in education, and we're looking for people who can help turn education around, who can build education. We need people who can fix education. All that is under education development. And probably you've heard the word education development. And if you've heard someone also, so for example, someone like me say, oh, I'm into education development, it's easy for you to say, you know what, that's a matter you need an Eyitayo to be on board on. But maybe you've heard of quality, or you talk about quality, or you need specific things that has to do with quality, quality control, quality assurance. A niche is carved and it's established and is positioned in a profitable way, you will find out that even in the absence of the person of the niche, even in the absence in terms of physical presence, the niche begins to draw you. It's like a magnetic pull. You talk about creativity, you talk about art, you talk about decoration. I have a lot of friends that do that. But you find out that there are some people, due to consistency, due to deliberate effort, due to research, due to mastery, have formed a niche for them over a subject matter. And because of that niche, guess what? They are the first people will call, no matter the degree of marketing or manipulation, they are hardly unseated. It's difficult to displace people who have profitable niche. In fact, in displacing them, you will still find a need of involving them. So, one, you have increased visibility. Two, enhanced customer relationship. You see, it's always, you see, when you go to the hospital and you need to see a doctor, one interesting thing is that you don't ask the doctor if he's single or if he's married. You don't ask the doctor if he can speak 5 languages. You don't ask the doctor if he can fry plantain. You don't ask the doctor if he knows how to swim. You tell the doctor your problem and you disable yourself from any other decision because you're in the hand of a perceived expert. The doctor represents a niche. And because of that, what you're going to do is to submit to the authority. It gives you cordial relationship. So if the doctor says, how do you feel? You might have ignored a friend, but you will not ignore the doctor. Because for every conversation with the doctor, each thing that you say is something that can be processed. And because you do not want to stay ill, or you don't want to fall ill, or you don't want to have any health hazard or impact, negative impact, you cooperate. It's the same way. When somebody is an expert and is called upon or is working with an individual and he has a niche, you see, because of that expertise, because of that visible area of special, it promotes cordial relationship. You're not valued less. General people are valued less. General people sometimes are when it comes to pricing, they are actually the people who suffer in the price value chain. They are priced down to the barest minimum because they can do everything. They form the culture and habit of doing everything. They've not mastered the discipline of specificity. And that is what we want to learn, that an important thing of having a profitable niche is not just visibility, but also cordial relationship with clients, enhance customer relationship. Another thing is that it reduces competition. It reduces competition. So please permit me to use this illustration. So I'm very familiar with the education sector or the education sphere, and sometimes I see silently, consciously, deliberately, in body languages as well. I see this competitiveness and also this competitive spirit. I see this making of boundaries. I see territorial approach to expertise and professionalism. I see where people begin to hoard practices, hoard knowledge, and hoard expertise. And the reason times is because they are all doing the same thing. They probably are not people who already have identified that if we're going to thrive, not just if we're going to do, but we want to thrive, our goal is to have our own kind of niche. So amongst consultants, there are people with different niche. Amongst trainers, amongst facilitators, there are still people, even within the same spectrum. So you can say you're someone who is a business development strategist. Even in business development, we have different niche. So that you know what happens? It helps you to have what you call reduced competition. You're able to narrow it so well that it's so easy. There are people that, for example, in photography business, they don't do event coverage. They just do photo shoots and they do premium photo shoots. They don't struggle for weddings, they don't struggle for parties, they don't struggle for concerts. They have their niche. There are some people, it is just events like weddings. They don't do concerts, they don't do birthday ceremonies, they don't do just strictly weddings. Now, when you begin to see people in that area, it means that they are mastering a niche, an area that is profitable, that is able to help them reduce the degree or the worry of competition. We've talked we've talked about improve relationship, enhance relationship with customers. We also talked about reduce competition, but then let's also talk about another important benefit. An important benefit available is let me see how I put it now. An important benefit available to individuals who are able to carve a niche for themselves is what we call an easy avenue for referrals, which sometimes we say word of mouth, word of mouth marketing. You see, with your niche, sometimes you have people become advocates of your service, advocates of your expertise, advocates of the things that you do. And so it's one task. You need to make sure that you do not handle in a shabby way. You do not handle with that high level of deliberateness, high level of professionalism, high level of research, high level of information. Your niche is very important. Banking market in it. When you have a niche, you're you have the ability and the propensity to do out of down times, to climb out of tough times, to navigate difficult periods and terrains. That can do for you. In fact, reinventing yourself, right, or reformation of your services becomes easier when you have a niche. You are all and about, everything goes. You will find it almost difficult to recoil, to recalibrate, to change your approach of things. And this is why we're sharing, and learning on this. You see, so you have enhanced customer retention or relationships, you have visibility, you have reduced competition, you have increased visibility, you have word of mouth experience, also on expertise. Now, let's look at it from what I shared. If you're benchmarking yourself against yourself, you're benchmarking industry standards, you find out that having a niche almost gives you the opportunity to put your signature to the services that you render. Having a niche gives the opportunity to put an appendage of a style that this is by you, your stroke of quality. You have a niche, and that's the best helps you to have all these things in the things that we're talking about. All these things that we mentioned, you are able to capture them in a reality where for 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 your person, for your expertise, for the things that you represent, the market that you're dealing with, you are able to maneuver, and see to the level of growth. Your expertise is being seen not just by you, by all, as it were, because you're not spending unnecessary time, you're not spending unnecessary talent, you're not spending unnecessary effort, you're not spending unnecessary input, on things that do not matter. You're not spending unnecessary resources on things that, well, not that they do not necessarily matter, but they are not really on your core. Your goal is, while having a niche, to face that core. Almost put it this way, minding your own business. And in minding your business, you find out that it's easier, to explore and grow in the area of expertise. Then another thing is that you are able to use or burn less resources. I'm sure you've heard this word before. If you've not, then probably it'd be nice for you to hear it. It says less is more. Less is always more. Now, when you have a niche cost market, a representation of what you do and who you are, there is a tendency for it to translate to you using less resources to achieve more outcomes, less resources to achieve more output, less resources to achieve more results, less resources to achieve better reputation. Now, when you are able to do all these, you will now find out that it is non negotiable for everyone out there expressing at one degree or some degree or the other the kind of expertise that they carry. It is important that you have your niche. You carve your niche. If you don't have, then it's a good opportunity for you to look out for people, consultants, family, friends that are experts in areas like this who can help navigate, galvanize you into the actual place that will lead to you having the right kind of niche, the right kind of expression that will lead you to having mastery at a different level. It's one thing for you to have skill, it's another thing for you to have a niche. It's one thing for you to have expertise, knowledge, qualification. It's another thing for you to gain profitability from your niche. And this is this cannot be done without intelligence. You will need intelligence, intelligence about your market, buyer behavior, intelligence about the needs, intelligence about who you are, and you probably might even need to get to the point where your personal SWOT analysis, your organizational SWOT analysis, your team, your unit SWOT analysis be. So I spent time talking about finding a profitable niche, and I believe that since we have some of our viewers and audience out there, so I would love to use the remaining part of this series, or the session tonight, to tackle the questions um, that might exist or emanate from the conversation that I have. Sorry, I'm kind of with a bit of cold today, so my voice is a bit under the weather. So I'm taking it a step at a time, a step at a time. So if you have questions, I can still development then that joined us. Thank you. Edrin Gabriel, thank you for joining. Great to have you here. Um, Juniper Crash, yes. Odetola Ebenezer, great to have you. So if you're there and you have questions, this is the opportunity that you have to ask your questions. So as you have your questions, I will be able to take questions by bringing this to a close. Questions about profitable niche. If you have questions, please feel free to ask your question. Okay, I think we have a question in the making. If you have questions, I also like to see if you have questions on Facebook. Um, Questions, yes. Okay, so there are no questions. So basically, I'll just do a summary, and those who joined in late, I'll still thank you all the same for joining. This is Teach Chat series with Rotimi Eyitayo, and basically tonight, our discussion is about finding a profitable niche. We started with the definition of what a niche is, and then what it means for you to have a profitable niche. We talked about how to find your niche. We talked about the importance of you know, having a profitable niche. And then we also talked about the the importance. Then we also talked about the benefits. We also opened room for questions. So without so I'll just do a recap. So you find out that for any profession that you have, or any profession that you represent, what you need to do is to have a checklist that seeks to assess, number one, if you've truly found your niche. Number two, if the niche that you've carved for yourself, for your business, for your platform, if those things that you've done to carve that niche for yourself, if the niche really indeed is profitable, then you are also able to progress further on the other dimensions of of your niche. And please understand, like I shared in the importance of your niche and the benefits of having a profitable niche, you find out that your growth is tied to it. So the extent with which you can grow as an individual, the extent with which you can grow as an organization, also is enshrined in the ability to be able to do what? To be able to have a profitable niche. If you're having problems with your businesses, you're having problems with making profit, you're having problems with identity, you're having problems with the things that you call your assignment of purpose, One of the things that you might need to do is not to pack your bags and quit. It might be to observe if that niche that you found is profitable, if it's working for you, if it's profitable for you, if it's worthy for you. That's basically what that tends to typify, where you are able to identify that your niche sometimes, if you're not careful, goes in correlation with your growth, goes in correlation with your profit. And for anyone out there who seeks to make profit, remember I said that profit is not an element of um, of money alone. Profit is an expression, an extended expression of several things, right? And that's what matters. Matters more. So if you're in need of support, or if you would like to find your niche, or you want to make your niche profitable, you can send me a direct message on Facebook, on Instagram, or you could give me a call and reach out to me, and I'll be willing to help you walk that journey. I'll be willing to sit down with you and put all the things that you want to do on a table of expression, be able to walk you through, in a systemic way, with the right level of sequence, to have the kind of niche that you deserve, the niche that your expertise deserves, the niche that your sacrifice deserves. And while we are at that, our goal is to ensure that your niche is profitable. When you have a profitable niche, we are all excited about that. So and I'd like to use this opportunity, right, for you out there to try as much as possible to always join us on Teach Chat series. It's every Friday, 5 p.m. African time, Nigeria. We'll spend time to share together, learn from each other, and in some cases, we might have guest appearances where I might need to host people alongside the session so that we can learn more, we can compare notes, we can improve more, you know. So today we've spent time talking about finding a profitable niche, and I'm sure you're geared up and fired up and excited, to make things happen with what you do, to make things happen for people, to make things happen for the world. When you have your niche, there's a lot that you enjoy and experience. When your niche is profitable, oh my God, you would end up having some degree of fulfillment. It provides safety. It provides peace. Even when you feel that everything around you seems to be crumbling, your niche is your confidence. Your niche is your growth tool. Your niche is your password to a greater you, to a greater market, to a greater profit. My name is Rotimi, having you tonight on Teach Chat series with Rotimi Eyitayo. I hope you've learned something, and if you do, please do not hesitate to say something, say hello. Thank you for being there. For those of you that joined on Facebook, on Instagram, and for those of you that also joined via YouTube. I'm excited to host you every week, and I'm thankful that we were able to share together and indeed learn together today. So, till I come your way next week and next time, I would like to say keep being profitable, keep your niche, and go there and make impact. Thank you very much.